So, you've just finished a document and you hit Control P to print it. You select your trusty fax machine, dial your boss's number, and send it off. Wait, that was the script from our 1995 demo. When you see a fax machine at the top of your printer list, it usually means the application doesn't know which printers you care about. You shouldn't have to be a rocket scientist to use the printer down the hall, so we need to do better. Universal Print, a new cloud print solution from Microsoft, makes it possible for the apps that you build to be smart enough to find and print to the printers that matter to a user wherever they're printing from, so that the next time they hit Control P, their experience will go from Control Pane to Control Print. Hi, I'm Braden.
Hi, my name is Venkat, and today I am going to walk you through on how to integrate a web application with Universal Print to enable cloud-based printing. For this demo, I have written a simple web application which I want to integrate with Universal Print. Let me show you the web application. On the landing page, there is an option for the user to sign in. After successful sign in, there is a print button that is enabled for the user. When the user clicks the print button, a dialog box is shown. In the dialog box, the user can select the printer, file to be printed, as well as other print settings. Currently, I pre-populated this dialog with a static data. Nothing happens when I click the print button also. Let's integrate this web application with Universal Print now. The first step in this integration is to fetch the list of the printers that are enabled for the logged in user and display it in this dropdown. Universal Print exposed a Microsoft Graph API which gives us this information. Let's examine the Graph API. So this is the Graph Explorer website. This is the Microsoft Graph Universal Print API that we can use to get a list of printers that are shared with the user. Let's invoke this Graph API and see the response. I've also added a select query so that I can focus on the important properties of the data. So the response is a list of printer objects. It contains ID of the printer, the name of the printer, the default configurations for a print job, and also the capabilities of the printer. Let's invoke this Graph API from our web application. I have already written the code to invoke this Graph API. The response of the Graph API I converted to a list of printer share objects. I have also written another function which invokes this Graph API. So the response, this function converts the response to a data model which the dialog box expects in my web application. Let me enable this code. So I am uncommenting out the line which invokes this function, and I'm commenting out the line which provides me that static data like printer 1 and printer 2. So I'm invoking this function on the initialization of the dialog box. I am also uncommenting out another logic which gets invoked when the user changes the printer in the dropdown. So whenever the user changes the printer, accordingly we update the printer capabilities. So the code is compiled successfully, and let's test our example. Now the application is trying to fetch the information from Universal Print. So there are two printers that are enabled for this logged in user. For build demo 3 printer, there are two color options that are available. Let me change the printer. If you notice, only one color option is available. So this information I am populating based on the printer capabilities. Now let's implement the functionality to submit the print job to Universal Print and enable this print button. Submitting a print job to Universal Print is a 3-step process. Here are those 3 steps: create job, upload data, start print job. Let's examine create job. As a part of this step, client application needs to create a print job using this Graph API. It also needs to pass request body. The body of the request is a iPrint job. iPrint job on a high level contains the metadata about the document as well as the print job settings. After successfully validating the request, Universal Print creates a unique job ID and document ID and passes it as a part of the response data. Response is also a iPrint job object. But this iPrint job object contains the job ID and document ID information also, along with the request body data. As a part of the upload data step, client app needs to invoke this Graph API to upload the document data. In order to create this Graph API, it uses the job ID and the document ID information that was received from the Universal Print in the previous step. It also passes the file data in the form of a byte array. Universal Print, after successfully storing this document data in the backend, it returns a success status message. So after successfully uploading the data, client app needs to invoke the start print job graph API. This is the format of the start print job graph API. It doesn't have any specific body. Universal Print will forward the print job request to the corresponding printer and request the printer to start printing whenever it receives this request. The response of this Graph API is a iPrint job status. It contains the job status code. I have written a simple function which converts the file data to byte array and invokes these three Graph APIs sequentially. So here I am checking the job status and displaying the status message accordingly. Let me enable this code. So I am uncommenting out the line which enables this code. So the code is compiled successfully. Let's test our web application. So it is trying to fetch the printers. So let me select build demo printer. Let me select a test file. Let me change the job settings slightly and click print. So now the client application is trying to submit the job to Universal Print. So we were successfully able to submit the print job.
Well, that was easy, wasn't it? If you want to try out the code Venkat showed today, check out our GitHub repo. The entire project is posted there with milestone snapshots along the way. And for more information about Universal Print, along with other ways to leverage it in your app, like showing a print job status indicator or implementing administrative functionality, check out our documentation. If you have any issues, ideas, or feedback, please reach out to us via the UP community. We're online frequently, and our team is ready to help with issues and prioritizing your great feature requests. To get the most out of Build and Microsoft's developer ecosystem, don't forget to follow our social channels, join the developer program, and watch out for the latest news.